get going. Order. Order in the court. I don't. Never get to say that. All right, so we have a quorum now for our April 21st meeting of the Boulder Library District Board of Trustees meeting, and so I have called us to order at 6:02. I'm late, but take your time. Here, no problem. So our first order of business will be public comment. And the first person is Karen, and the second person is Michael. So, what's a good place for you to stand?
Right there.
Right? Yeah, you can just stand up right where you are since there's nobody in front of you.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Karen Bowen, and I've been with Boulder Reads as Adult Literacy Coordinator for almost 13 years. I want to note that today is April 21st. First of all, it's also National Library Workers' Day. Yes. But I also want to note that it is Volunteer Appreciation Week, and you are all volunteers. So it's a moment, I think, to say you and to say yay us. I want to speak briefly tonight about revisions to the proposed collective bargaining policy before you. I feel the new document reflects a spirit of inclusion, both with regards to particular categories of workers and to our substitute workers. Thank you for taking the time to listen, meet with us in subcommittee, and learn more about the roles and contributions of these workers. I feel we have set a great foundation for the collaboration that is to come. The addition of defining terms is also appropriate. It's welcome, as is the clarification around policy review and how that interacts with any standing collective bargaining policy agreement. We are especially grateful that the revised policy allows for an expanded bargaining unit. Our union will now cover all non-supervisory, non-confidential positions. With this change, our colleagues in IT and accounting will have the opportunity to fully participate in the collective bargaining process and benefit from union representation. Additionally, the revised policy removes the requirement for 500 hours of work to be considered part of the bargaining unit. The policy as revised requires that employees work 90 shifts, even if those shifts are for 1 or 2 hours, which is a more practical understanding of the way that our substitute workers work in the library. Thank you for ensuring that more employees will have the protections and benefits that come from being part of this union. I am really excited for next steps, and I look forward to continuing to foster a productive collaboration based on our mutual love of Boulder Public Libraries and the critical work that we do together. Thank you.
All right. Okay, Michael.
Good evening. I'll be brief in respect to everybody's time. My name is Michael Serrano. I'm a 3-year Boulder Public Library employee in the Facilities Department and a member of the organizing committee for the Boulder Public Library Workers Union. First, I want to thank the board for all the time and effort put into drafting the collective bargaining policy before you tonight. The care and attention given to this policy shows, and it is greatly appreciated. I would like to bring to the board's attention the last paragraph of section 6, structure of the bargaining process, which begins, if the negotiations reach an impasse. Here, the draft policy describes a process for mediation, which we are pleased to see included. However, the final sentence of that paragraph then states, either party can discontinue mediation and terminate collective bargaining. Before a possible vote, I ask that the board review and strike the sentence, allowing the previously described processes in this policy to stand. Today, on National Library Workers' Day, I encourage you to use this occasion to recognize our contributions by fixing this proposed policy so we can move forward in the spirit of collaboration. I look forward to the continued progress of this process, as well as all aspects of our libraries through the work of this and future boards. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So, any other people that want to speak in public comment? Online?
Sammy in the chat.
Okay. All right, thank you for the mercy. with that, so we don't stay here till late at night, so I'm gonna close public comment. Okay, so the next order of business is, actually, I want to recognize Lisa Farida. How do you say your last name, Lisa?
Faria.
Area. She will hopefully be our next trustee. She's been ratified by Boulder County, and she has to be ratified by the city
On the 7th, I think.
on the 7th.
May 7th.
May 7th. Do you want to say anything? Introduce yourself real quick and tell us about you.
Yeah, happy to do so. It's a pleasure to be here with you all today. I am a huge reader and user of the library, and I have 2 teenage boys, aged 16 and 18 actually. He's an adult, I can't believe it, that are in the Boulder school system. And so we absolutely love Boulder, my husband and I, and our 2 and 4-legged kids. My background is in finance. I'm a venture capitalist. So I tell people that are like, what the heck is venture capital? It's like Shark Tank, but with nice people. We invest in food and agriculture businesses all over the world. And we have some investments here in Boulder as well. So I lead a $100 million fund and we deploy investments from there. And so I love Boulder so much that I want to give back to my community in wherever and whatever way I can. So I'm excited to hopefully serve alongside all of you to really craft the way for the Boulder Library moving forward, and hope to meet you all in person soon.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
Welcome. I have a 16-year-old at Boulder High as well. So,
It's an interesting age, let's just say.
okay, thank you. So I don't see Andy on. So again, we're going to consider meeting minute approval. The meeting minutes from. He is, but he was supposed to join online. So
He said he'd be a little late.
how late? Okay. I texted.
He said not to leave.
Don't wait for him. Okay. All right. Well, that's right. So, anybody have any changes to the meeting minutes for March 10th? Okay, I'm going to make a motion to approve the meeting minutes for March 10th.
I second.
Okay, all in favor of approving the meeting minutes for March 10th, say aye.
Hi.
Thank you. And any nays? No? Okay, it's all approved, so thank you. All right, so the next item, which is why everybody's here, the consideration of the collective bargaining policy agreement. And I think 2 things I was going to bring up. Yes, we got a call from the Ask Me folks, and they had mentioned striking this last sentence. Sorry.
Section 6.
Yeah, I'm going to go to page 13. That either party can discontinue mediation and terminate collective bargaining. That is a right that we all have legally. I think this was just copied over from something else. I don't see any problem with striking it. So, I think with the negotiations and impasse, this is just a policy. This is my editorializing. So this is just a policy we're considering. So once we get into negotiations, if we hit an impasse, we can always agree with the other party on how we might settle that impasse. And that could be any other ways. We put mediation in here. So I think for me, it's not a big deal to strike this. This is the right we already have, and so does AFSCME. So
You're talking about the last
the last sentence.
So if we strike it, we still have the right to discontinue
Correct.
mediation in terms of bargaining?
Correct.
Why do they want it striked?
Right, so then that cuts both ways.
Right.
I think it's just in the spirit of the agreement, right? So in the spirit of the agreement, they'd rather not be with what we come to an impassable impasse. And that's my understanding from my conversation with last week, is that why leave in policy with a place where you're coming to an impasse? But there's a whole list of things. So this is taken, the part of this paragraph, most of the things in it, taken straight from the National Labor Relations Board process of mediation. This last sentence is in there. It's right about the organization that loves the union and the board, and things. But we're not enumerating all the rights, and that was the conversation you guys had initially. They chose not to enumerate all the rights, but then you realized all of them weren't open to you. So I think striking it, I agree, I think striking it is it doesn't preclude the right, but in the spirit of camaraderie, I think it's.
If it's there or not, we still have the right.
Right.
I don't know that I get it.
Care.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that, like, yeah, like objectively, totally, maybe it makes a difference, but as long as it doesn't mean that somehow we would be trapped in endless mediation, like, if that's not going anywhere, then I think it's fine.
Any other comments?
And that cannot change down the road, right? Like even if it's not written in here, that later on, it's a law, right, that we can stop at any point?
That's in the National Labor Relations Act. Since we're under PROPWA, I think it's a little unclear, but PROPWA does say that we don't have to collectively bargain. So I think that's pretty clear, but I think we would need to seek legal advice on what even if it was in here or not, I think we'd have to seek legal advice on or the board would have to seek legal advice on what our. Go ahead.
The lawyer that was advising us, was this her language, or did we put this in? Andy put this in?
This paragraph, came from
her.
From her, yeah.
From her?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but go ahead, Sylvia.
Well, and I think that one of the things that we're focusing on is, as the library board, we are focusing on what the rights of the library are. But the way that it's written, it's clear that that applies to both sides. And I think that even if it's not in there, that option is still available to both sides, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm happy. I have no objections to striking it as long as it's understood that we're just simply taking it out as a formality and a request, but that option is still open to either side.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I think we should make a motion to strike that with the understanding in the motion that we still reserve the right to approve that. And then I do think that if we do reach an impasse, I think both sides would need to seek legal counsel on what their options are. Yeah. And this doesn't restrain us, that's what I think.
So there are a whole bunch of rights that accrue to both parties that are not mentioned in the policy.
Right.
This is just one.
Right.
I'll make a motion that we strike that last sentence. Either party can discontinue mediation and terminate collective bargaining. It's unnecessary because those rights are protected for both parties in the national labor.
Go ahead, Sylvia.
Oh, wait. So I'm just making sure I'm clarifying. So do we need to make a motion to strike it, or are we simply approving it as amended with the language?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I would guess we could approve. Yeah, I mean, yes, I think technically you probably have to. Yeah, I think we can make it. I think we have one more comment. What's the other comment?
Justin, Benita.
Oh, yeah.
Bring up Benita.
Yeah. So the other piece. So I think let's just do the motion since the motion's on the floor. But I would amend the motion to just say that it's the right that both parties have, regardless of that language.
Okay.
Okay. That's all.
So accepted.
Okay. I'll second the motion.
Wait, sorry. We're voting to amend a document that we haven't adopted.
That's true.
So
Yeah.
should we not do that?
Or can we?
Yeah,
Can we
that was my point.
Okay.
I think let's not, and like
Okay.
let's just strike that motion,
Okay.
and when we do vote on this policy, we will just state that it's with that sentence removed.
All right.
Thank you, Karen.
All right.
Otherwise, this motion and this vote is not meaningful. It's not meaningful.
We haven't got the Robert rules of order here. Anyway, okay. So I think we're in agreement, everyone, that we'll strike that. So the other piece was, I think, Benita had sent a note, which I didn't really understand, but at first, but I think somebody explained it to me. She was hoping that, she was wanting to know if we wanted to table the policy to wait till we get a new trustee on the board next month. And so that was, I'm just bringing up what she wrote to me. I think that was what she meant to convey, right, Sylvia?
Yes, and I guess the one thing I understand where Benita is coming from, but I would also argue that Kara's been working on this pretty hard with the rest of us, and she might enjoy walking out the door having this done today. So, I mean, you could make an argument both ways. You could make an argument both ways that it would be great to include our new trustee, but at the same time, someone who's been doing the work is also in the room who might want to be part of that final decision.
I feel strongly we should move and finish this before we add Lisa to the board. Since she has missed out on the last 5 months of working on this.
Yeah.
And Andy's about to jump on, I just texted him.
Okay, we'll fill her in when she comes. It's pretty easy to understand and understandable, so. Okay,
I mean,
so.
if I thought that was gonna change the vote, I might feel differently, but I don't.
I don't think it will.
I don't think so either. Okay. So, I'm not gonna wait for Andy, so we'll just go ahead. Oh, is he getting on?
Yeah, I just texted him. 30 seconds. He's texting me. I said, I'm getting on, I'm joining now. He said,
Alright.
I'll be working though.
Yeah. So, okay, well, that's a.
Why don't we go to the treasurer's report while we wait?
Alright, we'll wait for Andy, we'll table this and then we'll table it.
There's the open.
There he is, he's here.
I'm usually much
He's in the
more,
waiting room.
I'm usually much more organized.
Yeah, I got him in.
We don't-
There he is.
I think I'm having anxiety because we have the trustee on board. So. Okay, Andy, just to fill you in. Welcome. And of our policy in section 6, the last sentence, if the negotiations, that paragraph, the staff asked that we strike the last sentence. And we agreed. Do you have any comments on that? Okay, you're okay with it. And the other piece was the note from Benita asking if we would consider tabling this policy until the next meeting. I think that's what she said. I'm paraphrasing it.
She actually said first reading and second reading.
Do a first reading and second reading. Yeah, which I think she meant table it. I think we all agree here we don't want to table it. We'd like to approve it. I'd rather vote tonight. Okay, so I am going to make a motion to approve the collective bargaining policy agreement as amended. In that amendment, with the understanding, I don't think we need to repeat it, but it doesn't affect our legal rights. And I'll make a motion to approve the collective bargaining as amended.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor of approving the collective bargaining policy, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Okay, the motion carries and the policies are approved. All right, so the next steps are outlined in the policy. So you will get a hold of David, and David, you have some work you have to do on your side, and so.
Yin and Gwen.
Okay, so the policy is approved. We're all responsible for this place, so let's take care of it. Let's see. Treasury report.
Yeah, so I'm going to turn it over to Adriana Jankowski. She'll walk you through it. Adriana, are you there? Yes.
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great. Hopefully this time you can hear me better. I know last time was I was a little bit breaking a little bit, but turn off my Wi-Fi on all of the devices in the house. So it should be better. But if not, please feel free to interrupt me and maybe I will turn off my camera. That's my another backup plan. So hopefully this overview is going to go a little quicker and faster than the last time. I know last time I took a little bit more time than expected. So this is just going to be a quick overview of our financials for Q1. And as usual, the financial report packet includes our statement of activities and balance sheet. Also this year, I will present our operating and grant funds in the separate reports, just for more clarity and ease, basically. Also, just keep it in mind that ideally each quarter's expenditures should account for about 25% of our annual budget. That's what we're aiming for each quarter. So, and that's what I would like to present to you. So let me share my screen. You can view this report in the packet. This report is on page 21. So this report is a statement of activities representing operating fund as of March 31st, 2026. As you can see here, we have, as usual, our budget column, our actuals, again, up to March 31st, 2026. Our encumbrances, and just reminder what encumbrances are the money funds promised to the vendors. They are usually captured in our purchase orders. And then we also have year-to-date balance. And I did add another column for just better overview of our financials, our percentage for received and spent column. So I think I'm just going to point out probably the few items that the board probably has some questions on. So I will point out that we are on the top right here, we have our revenues, and then at the bottom halfway here, our expenditures. So as you can see, our property tax revenue is about at 40%, which is expected. Just because our funds come in, like majority of our funds, big months for our revenue to come in is February, April, and June. That's our deadlines for property owners to pay their taxes, their dues. So we are on a good track. We are at 40%, which is great. We also have our carryover revenue, which is a little bit over 500,000. We do have a budget here, but as you can see, there is zero in actuals, and that's how we're going to stay through the end of the year. So carryover revenue is not our revenue that are funds that are coming in. They're not new funds. They're just funds that are rolling from 2025 to 2026. And again, these funds are promised to our vendors for projects, and especially capital projects that are going to close out this year. So throughout the year, you will see the 0% in spendings. The purpose of this line is to offset our expenditures in our budget. So I'm happy to explain further if you have any questions. Another item to kind of point out is our interest income. We are at 18% currently, but there's nothing to worry about yet. It is as participated. That's just because in March we received a larger sum of our revenue, which we put in our investment account. And throughout the year, that investment account is going to stay or kind of grow. So therefore, our interest rates and interest income will kind of grow with it as well. So we're still aiming for $350,000 throughout the year, unless something bigger is going to happen and the rates will drop drastically or something like that. So, but we'll aim still for this amount. So overall, in our revenue, we are at 39%, which is a good news. Going down to our expenditures, we do have a slight personal savings, but that's due to in-house custodial hires. So we kind of anticipated hiring process to kind of finish a little earlier, and that didn't happen. We do have we send out the offers to the new staff and new team, and the training will start this month. So therefore, there's a slight delay. Due to delay, there's slight savings in the personnel savings. We are a little bit over in administrative and office category, but also there's nothing to worry about as well, just because we did had some expenses that we basically pay in advance for the year. And those expenses are such as, and the big one is the courier services that we pay to Marmot. Another line that are not a big concern either is our IT equipment, software, and support. It's not a concern yet, just because again, at the beginning of the year, this year, we did prepay, advance pay a lot of software systems to our vendors. So we don't anticipate, majority of our software and systems were paid for in a quarter one. So we still gonna look fine throughout the year.
The eMates program, was that in our budget? Is that budgeted in this number? So that would be a
That would
maybe
be a
we get that
deduction.
back in.
If we choose to take an E-rate deduction this year,
Okay.
we don't know the amount yet, but we probably will.
Okay. Yeah. So
Yes.
Lisa.
Yeah.
Give Lisa.
So E-rate's just a federal reimbursement for software and hardware costs, and it's available to public libraries as well as it is to public education institutions. We will apply this year.
Thank you.
And get some portion of a rebate.
Okay.
Thank you.
Keep going. Sorry.
Okay, sorry, I lost my screen here with all of you. Okay, great. So another kind of a little bit over the budget that it seemed not over the budget, but we look a little tight on capital outlay. Again, nothing to worry about. Our capital, we are halfway done with our capital improvements and capital projects, and that would include our second floor renovation project. So nothing to worry there either. But the bottom line, we look great, right? Like we aiming for 25% of our budget to be spent in a quarter one. And that's where we are. I would say 99% of activities that happen in a quarter one, they are included in this report. My team and I, we work really hard to gather all the information and put as much information in Sage to give you as accurate report as possible for quarter one. So.
Another question: that the cafe seems to be overproducing here, which is good, I guess. We got a third of the revenue and a fourth of the year. So, do you think we'll maintain 30K a quarter, or you think with summer?
The cafe's doing very well.
Yeah, the cafe is doing really well. Yeah. Okay.
But, we're learning
Yeah.
to refine it this week. But it's,
Okay.
it's clearly busy.
It's very busy. Some people sit in there all day. Yeah. 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 Go ahead.
Yes, so for the cafe, also keep it in mind that the trend that we've seen in the last year, we probably offsetting about 65% of our sales going against our expenses. So at the end of the day, we'll have about still 35% of our revenues that we keep. So the revenue increases and our expenditures increases with the cafe as well.
Right. Yeah. But 1 second.
Can I interrupt?
Yeah.
The 40% we're at in terms of the property taxes, how does that relate to last year? At this point last year, were we seeing the signs that we were going to get screwed later, or?
No, it was a little higher, but we don't have enough data to predict. Like, so we have basically 2 years of data. This year was, 1 year was higher, 1 year was lower. This year is in between. So we don't have enough data to say. Adrian and I have talked about it. We look at the
Right,
receipts every month, but it's not predictable to somebody.
so there's no pattern.
There is no pattern. The only thing that we can kind of predict better is that February dues which are paid in March are higher than any other months. The same for April dues and July dues because of the deadlines and due dates on those property taxes for the residents.
How did February compare to February of last year?
It was lower, but it was,
We were lower this year.
yeah, but higher than another year, so.
Oh, okay.
It's not,
Yes.
it's not entirely predictable. I think a lot of people, they pay their taxes when they pay their taxes.
Yeah, I don't know if you have to pay them in February or you can pay the first installment.
I think
or
some people have it
wait
set up
till
with their mortgage
January.
company and those come automatically.
Yeah,
We will see when we have 10 years of data if we can predict what's gonna happen. I'm not comfortable doing it until then, probably.
yeah. I mean, if I just
You're hanging around.
Right?
Wow.
He's got
We got news tonight.
2 kids in college.
If they go to,
Oh, all right. College is still around. Okay. All right. Sorry to.
well, before we move on, does the investment income make sense to everybody, right? So the money flows in basically between February and June. So the amount of money we'll have in the bank will spike at that point so high. At that point, it begins to drop down, but it's significantly more until we get to January, where we're drawing down on money that's in the common trust. And so we're drawing it below where it is. So that is a cycle we'll go through every single year. That's something I think we'll probably be able to predict sooner.
Okay.
Yes, that's true. So this statement of activities represents only grant. I'm just gonna go really quick through it since it's there. We have about 88% of our revenue for the year, and we only are at 7% of the expenditures. But this actually report doesn't include some of the payroll, which we do quarterly, not quarterly, every couple of months we do journal entries to move from operating to grant expenditures. But that's probably a reason why it seems a little low. But I will just move on. If that's okay. So this last report is our balance sheet. It is by fund. So balance sheet, again, it represents more of like not our net, our financial stand. So we have again, this report is ran as of March 31st for our first quarter. We have our grant funding, long-term fund, operating, and allocation combined. And I'm just going to focus on our operating because that's what we really should truly look at it currently is we want to look at our assets. So our assets are basically our cash in the bank and our checking account and our call trust account and also our accounts receivable. So accounts receivable such as March revenue, tax revenue, for example, that we received, it was accounted for in March, but we received on April 9th. So that's our accounts receivable. So at the moment we are at $11.5 million in our cash account and basically in our current assets. And our current assets, they reflect our liabilities. So they need to balance with our liabilities and our fund balances. So as you can see, our current liabilities, such as accounts payable, so those are dues to our vendors. And then we also, our fund balances equal to that $11.5 million, which is our reserves, fund balances, other fund balances, change in fund balance, and capital reserve. So we have about our standing point right now is about $11.5 million. Any questions? Because I think that's all I have for you.
Getting better and better as
Yes.
far as the man's business.
Well, that's part of the era, who have refined it, the finance committee.
Okay. All right, well, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
We can hear you loud and clear. It was great. Okay, we're gonna move on to, any other questions about the budget? Okay, we're gonna move on to the strategic plan update.
Yes, so you have a memo here. I could summarize and take any questions you have. So the data collection phase of the program is nearing completion. We had a meeting today. There's still some little bit of refinement to do, but I think we're in really solid shape. It's examining a lot of the usage data that we already have. It's already coming together. To some extent, we will use that and bring you more completed usage data in May is the hope. The plan, we're going to need a lot of that data to use. Well, then, the community engagement phase is just underway. We don't have a contract yet. We have identified a consultant who will be working with us to do some of that data analysis. So, and also training of staff to do interviews. What else is in the scope of work, Jennifer? It's a whole host of different things that she will do, primarily to analyze the narrative data that comes back from the interviews.
Develop questions.
Help us develop the questions.
Okay. I thought we were going to have a consultant.
Well, we always were going to have a consultant around, especially around questions that we ask. It's by no means ever perfect, but I do feel like we get a strong advantage by having a professional data scientist designing questions for us so we get the results more in line with what we were expecting to receive. And in this case, where we're doing interviews instead of a survey, it's that much more critical, I think, because the interviewing the primary focus of the community engagement will be one-on-one and one-on-two interviews. And so putting that scope together is going to be a new endeavor for us. I'm super excited about it. I think it's a really novel idea that the engagement community came up with it. We found a consultant who advised on how to go about doing the interviews. We will probably also do some focus groups, but not a lot. We're talking about doing 70 or so interviews, maybe some more than that, and maybe 3 focus groups.
And what?
Yeah, I'm all in favor of the interviews. I think it's a better way for you to go. I just thought that between Maria and Kate and JD and myself, Nina, et cetera, that why we need outside counsel on this, but I'll defer to you on that. My experience when I went through the thing 2 years ago, that big community effort in Cateville, we paid 2 consultants that I didn't see what they added. So that's my concern with it. But we hire you to run these things, and I trust you in this.
We never get through it.
I'm just adding my.
We never get through any strategic plan without firing at least a couple consultants. I'm hoping that this is the first time that we don't.
We have used this consultant
That
before.
doesn't fill me with confidence either.
This is a consultant that we have used on a couple of occasions before.
That you like and that you trust.
That I really
You've had
like.
good experience.
And we used her on the last strategic plan. We were using her on some data.
That's like 10 years ago.
And I also want to add that the staff here, we do include them. They have other work to do.
Yeah, I get that.
We need the help. We can't do it all.
We'll let you finish it. You guys finish
I'm
the
done.
conversation. Another question, what are we presenting on the strategic plan to the focus groups? I mean, do we have an idea of I thought we talked about a narrower scope and a sort of, here are the things that we can do. So have we got those lists?
We haven't identified the questions.
Okay.
All right, so the questions have not been identified. I don't think we'll have those until probably late May, early June.
Okay.
The kinds of questions that we're going to be asking. We have narrowed the scope of the work in terms of focusing on particular types of library use, which we know has changed, and also some specific demographic groups. Although we're primarily focused on usage rather than demographics, because a lot of the usage rates will overlap with a lot of different demographic groups, but like families and children. Right? So families and children will probably hit on every single kind of usage that we're looking at. It is a small portion of the population, like probably less than 8%, and yet it makes up probably 40 to 50% of all of our metrics. And so it's a critical group that we speak with. There are other groups that are like that, And there are other groups that we recognize that we don't have good forms currently in our data of how to measure their activity. We know they're here, we know they're using the library, it doesn't necessarily require a card, and their usage is a little bit opaque to us. And so I think we've identified that as a group, a type of usage that we're interested in talking about that more. It's the kind of people who are here today, working or studying. It's not exactly which or what they're doing, but that's the group that definitely is. Well, the hypothesis is growing based on the data that we have, but we don't really know what they're here for. And they don't really talk to us much.
So then I guess, the questions would be like, thinking of this program, would you like that? Or I'm just trying to get an idea of like.
No, broadly speaking, we're looking at 3 areas. So we're looking at technology use. We're looking at how people utilize the library in terms of what activities they do here. The same kind of questions that we asked for in the survey, but getting greater clarification around what those uses might be and how do we enhance their experience. For those people who are using the library now, what are ways we can enhance the experience? One of the other lines of questioning would be around the civic role of the library. So we serve in this current capacity, we have a lot of civic functions that we perform. Everything from you can get your citizenship here, do the ceremony, learn English. We have the monthly driver's license program. We're a voting place, tax up. So the list of things goes on and on and on. It's never been something we specifically called out in terms of our mission or role in the community. And I think we're really trying to gauge what is the public's understanding of that civic role and how do they see it perhaps either broadening or narrower than the way in which we see it. Which is the things that we do now, are, the way I describe it to the staff, and I know this is not the best way, they're mostly things that have happened to us, right? The things that have happened to us, we said, we're in a polling place, or hey, the driver's license van is willing to pull up, like great, let's have it. But we haven't done it with purpose and deliberation. I think that is a critical function.
That'll be.
Yes.
And so then we'll get this data and staff will take it and come up with the things we're going to focus on for the next 2-3 years, and then we're going to change it.
And one of the other things we talked about a little bit today, but we obviously, it's in the context of technology and how technology relates, but obviously AI. We have as more or less ethical kind of guidelines for how staff can use AI. We've not really talked to the groups about how AI would or would not be used as a library function or service, or what role we play in it at all, whether it's educational or
I think to your role in civic engagement, AI is going to be the most tumultuous thing across the culture. We're stepping in to help people, just kind of like all the work you did earlier in your career, but we're going to do some computers.
May very well.
I mean, thinking about that because it's coming. The other thing is, and I don't know whether this fits into the strategic plan, but it's the buildings. And I had an interesting conversation with Tina Marquise the other day. We sat together at the Council of World Affairs. She said somebody needs to put together a committee of all the buildings, so the city and the school district and us, as to a plan. And then today I saw, Colonel Mustard is about to leave because he moved ahead. So like, it seems to be hard to keep ahead of where the conversation is, and we come back to the rumors around the canyon.
So one of the major underlying themes of the strategic plan is, how do we get our money right? How do we get our money right? And a big part of that is the capital investment. So the capital investment simply in terms of maintenance, not building buildings or opening stuff. It's just how do we take care of what we have? And it's the same situation you're absolutely right. The county is in, the city is in, the school district is in. The maintenance cost on a new building recommended is about, the city recommends about 2% annually. You contribute to the ongoing life. The whole cost of a library building, we're putting way less than that. The future, we have not planned for investments in excess of that. And for a 50-year-old building, that percentage is significantly higher. So 2% for a new building is probably closer to 4 to 5% of the overall value of a building for an older building. So we have to figure that out. that is a critical component, but that's not something we're asking the community.
Yeah.
As far as the buildings are concerned, we're also not really asking them, would you like a better one? Because that's really not within our purview right now in this next 3 year plan.
And that's the scope.
So, so my thing is, we have the budget, and we have what's, we're gonna have to allocate some for facilities, and then what's left over.
Yeah, I guess where I'm trying,
Yeah.
part of why I'm asking this, I mean.
No, I get, Tina brought that up to me too.
But the other part is we just watch, we're watching how the South Boulder is reacting to the South Boulder rec center, right? So we're the next most popular building, okay? Besides the rec centers, and we're gonna be going through something, whether it's maintenance or design or moving or meadows. I just think in this strategic planning process, we ought to be engaging in a way where we look like we're being proactive at it. So when the day comes where, we've got to make a big decision, we're not in the spot like, we never engaged the community.
Just to be clear, and for the record, our buildings are 3 times as busy as all of the rec centers combined. So
Well, I
just so
will,
you know. I get picky about that one. It's like people do use the rec center for sure.
I'll go back.
We're 3 times busier than the rec
I'll
center.
go back to when we brought the buildings over in the beginning of the district, is that, so when we met with the operations folks, before the libraries left, we were 50% of the calls, maintenance calls.
Okay.
Yeah, for the whole city. So now the police station is 50% of all the, I don't know if you follow what they were doing. But I get you, what you're saying, and I think that's something we can take up. We gotta get those folks together, have the city meet, or at least we, with Nuria. I have a grand idea for facilities when they move to their other campus, but it's just not Doug's pipe dream, and so.
For city facilities?
Well, yeah, I mean, what I said about the Tate building.
Oh.
Using it as the makerspace, and the Carnegie, or the collection, Carnegie collection. That was my idea.
The city did just have a meeting about some of the buildings. They will have another one in another month or so. I'd encourage you to read those. It's a short piece from the facilities department. It's only about 17 pages. From the council meeting, not last Thursday, but the Thursday prior to that was a study session. I'd encourage you to read it. The library's called out a couple of times in that, in the sense in which, they have to figure out what happens with the provenance of these buildings. I will. And then the other thing is they also hold the library up as a model for future leases. Right, so we basically have assumed the cost of ownership. We are responsible for every single thing to do with all of our buildings in every single way. At no cost to the city, well, we pay them $1 per year. But I'll remind you, the community built these buildings. They were all taxed to build purpose-built libraries for the libraries. And the city's position has always been that they're not in the library business anymore. The library district is in the library business, and the library district should own the buildings, right? So that's not a council predisposition necessarily, but that is the disposition of the city, and it has not changed.
All right, we're getting away from this GA plan.
Yeah.
Sorry, it was correct.
So that's.
And I don't think that, so I don't think, and we talked about this a couple of months ago. So the strategic plan is not going to be an answer for what happens to all the buildings. I know that that's preeminent in a lot of your minds in terms of Meadows, Carnegie, Reynolds, all of those buildings, we can admit, they're all in need of something, right? They need more space, they need all these things. We're not going to answer that question this month.
And that was a conscious decision, I will say, I believe,
It was.
because we don't have the money.
Yeah.
So like, so
The money is not the issue. We don't know what the solution is.
that's true.
Whether the
That's
money is
true.
available or not is simply a question of budget. My point is that there's not an obvious solution. We don't have an obvious solution to either Carnegie, Meadows, or Reynolds. Do we renovate them? Do we build a new one? Do we fuse them all together? Do we fuse Carnegie with Meadows? We don't know. There's no obvious solution that is directly pointing to us and say, like, this is obviously the way to go. There's
And
not.
we're not taking care of what we already have.
And the buildings themselves are, of those 3 buildings, the average age must be close to 70 years old.
We have budgeted almost nothing for capital this year.
Yeah.
And we're spending money like water on the HVAC system just to keep it functioning. So we really have to get our financial house in order, as you said before, and be strict about investing in the buildings we have and taking care of them, and then seeing what more we can do to do new things at
Yeah.
new libraries.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
In the 27
And it
budget.
didn't make sense to us to ask the community what you want in 5 years if we don't even know what we're going to have in 5 years.
Right.
In 3 years, we might have a better picture of what our revenues are looking like.
Well,
Ownership, the ownership question doesn't go away. The ownership question is the only path we have to debt financing any project. We can't do it when we're leasing the buildings from the city. If we own the buildings, we have a pathway towards certificates of participation. We can put them up as collateral. We can get I don't know the amount. I know Andy's asked me a couple of times. I don't see the necessity of pursuing the question until we know. Until we know that we're going to have one. At that point, we can see. We can ask a financier, like, what amount of debt can we assume? What amount can we get in certificates of participation? And my hope is that my plan, you can tell me if we're wrong, and our minds may change in 3 years, is that we're not going out to voters. We're not going out for a bond, right? So that's not an option that we have. We just went for an election 2 years ago, 3 years.
okay. We can talk a lot about facilities and maybe we'll schedule some time to do that at some point, June or July or August, usually at the offsite
I think we're talking about it in August.
in August, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Representative Facilities Capital, Master Facilities and Capital Plan.
yeah,
We'll talk about it again in just a while.
that's what we need to do. Okay, any more comments about the strategic plan? I think,
We'll be bringing you some of the data in May. It does show, some significant shifts in how patrons use the library. And I think it'll help us develop some questions that we better find out more.
okay, director update?
Yeah, this should be quick. You guys asked at the last meeting about electioneering and that we are now a polling place. We've been a polling place here at the main library. And now we'll have a ballot box at Cut Barrel and at Dumbo as well. This is a statement from the county. We are not, no book on the shelf, no flyer on the program, none of those things would count as electioneering. What would count as electioneering is there's a visible sideline between the voting booth and a sign that says vote no on proposition, whatever. That's how they interpret electioneering. So I hope that answers that question. Is that satisfactory, Andy? Yeah, good. And that concludes my director's report.
Okay, we have our Library Foundation Director, that's the right term, right, Director? Yes, Head of the Library Foundation, Chris Barr.
CEO is my title.
CEO. President. Chief Executive.
Thanks, Doug. Hi, everybody. We had fabulous first ever book club competition, bookworms on the slopes. We had 250 register, 150 book club members from over 30 book clubs finish the 3-week competition. And many of them, as part of the competition, made donations for the first time. It led into Library Giving Day, which was on April 1st. And that period of a month saw us beat our $10,000 matching challenge times 2. So we raised over $30,000 during that period of time. So that was good. And, it drove home that a lot of how we attract public support to this library is through stewardship. And it felt like a really neat way that all of the library staff at all the branches were involved in this theme we had about how library is a verb, how do you library. And so thank you, all the library staff that's in the room for collaborating with us on that. We're already planning next year's with the library staff. Wanted to note that Boulder Reads is celebrating its 40th this year. And we're collaborating with them on an exhibit they're putting together May 20th to June 4th right out here. So be sure to check that out. Our board, Library Foundation, will have its annual meeting tomorrow in this room where we'll approve a fresh set of leadership officers on our board and committee chairs and review our clean audit. And then another thing that we're busy planning for is the International Public Library Fundraising Conference, which will be in June. We're going to have 2 staff and 3 board members there and it's going to be the Boulder show. All of a sudden, we've got 5 presentations, more than any other library foundation in the US or Canada, and we're a presenting sponsor. So we're on the map. But we'll be talking about the gala, this book club competition that we stole from Charlotte, and Charlotte's introducing us. I mean, it's libraries, right? We share ideas. And we'll be talking about board level governance and leadership and general leadership. That's all I got.
Thank you, Chris. Thanks for all you do for the library. And also thank you, staff, for all you do for the library and our staff and library workers day. This is appropriate. Okay, so trustee matters. The board self-assessment. I'm not going to go through this line by line. I think my only comment, and if anybody else has, was I think one of the things that we wanted to improve on, if I read the data right, was trustee orientation. So one thing I was thinking about that might help with trustee orientation was sort of a new trustee mentor program, where I thought, there's six of us and 1 new trustee, so 7, and that maybe we split up 2 months at a time, and I'll volunteer to take the first 2 months since I'm rotating off as chair, and we get with the new trustee, we go over the packet maybe an hour or so before the, sometime before the next meeting, so like on Monday or something, and then they can ask questions, we can show them. We can do our normal trustee training, but then have this mentor they can go to ask questions, and then we'll just switch off every 2 months if people are okay with that. If you don't want to do it, that's fine. I thought that might help, sort of. And then we could also explain the background of why we're talking about the strategic plan, or why we're talking about facilities, or why we're talking about whatever we talked about tonight. So what is the background? I thought that might be a good idea. Anybody else have any? Could we implement something like that? Does that sound good?
The library has a buddy system for new employees that join. I don't know if that's something that you'd be interested in.
Oh yeah, I'll just get some more information about that. Is it a long process, or?
Really? Took for a while. Yeah, no, it's gonna, I don't know if that'll work for you.
No, yeah.
If you want information on it, that's kind of what you're suggesting.
We're kind of doing a buddy system.
Yeah, you're kind of suggesting a buddy system.
And that way, and Nadine, I know we didn't do this for you, and you got thrown to the wolves at the beginning, so if you want to participate as well, we can.
I'm happy to do that.
But now you've already been through a year of conversation, so.
Yes.
So, yeah, but, so that was my comment. Anybody, anything online, Andy or Sylvia, on the trustee and annual assessment?
Lisa, I will reach out to you and we can meet up, because I'm the most recent person, and as kind of alluded, I was thrown to the fire a little bit. So happy to help and transition. I don't know
Sounds
everything, but at least the most recent stuff.
Awesome. I appreciate that.
Do you have an email yet, by the way? You must, if you're here.
No.
Or
No, not yet. We'll have to wait till she's
Okay.
fully. We'll get it before the next meeting. Andy, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it looked like one of the other items that came up on our survey was access to public documents. I don't know if we were specific enough in which access we think is deficient, but David, I'm happy to think on that a little bit. Maybe that should be an easy fix. If we just identify what we think is lacking there, it's probably just a matter of making sure it's on our trustees page or whatnot. But that was one of the items that came up in the survey that's probably worth us digging into a little bit.
I put that there. I can just talk to it. I didn't know where to find anything or that any of it existed, or I think it's just part of onboarding. I forget how we rated, but I think I rated it low because I just didn't understand anything was there.
I think that would be helpful. I mean, we don't really use it. We do have a Teams page, and we have Teams folders, and there are documents stored in there. When I've done op-eds or whatever for the board on behalf of the board, I usually save them in there. But we can show people how to use that. Yes, and you know, and I have been doing, I think we've been pretty communicative the last few months, and Benita had asked, you know, that I do like a bi-monthly, you know, update as a president, and I have done that in some instances when it's been a month, but the last 4 months or so, that 5 months, we've met more than once a month, so I didn't do that because
We all love each other.
you're all seeing each other. So, but anyway, okay. So if they don't have any objections, I'll set up that kind of system, and I'll go first, and unless anybody else wants to, and then we can go through. But since Sylvia and I have been here the longest, maybe she can go second, or maybe we'll see. We'll just play it by ear. New trustee update. Obviously, Lisa's here, so we had the update there. She'll be hopefully ratified by the city on May 7th, at their May 7th board meeting. And yes. And then, resolution. And for Kara. So I have a resolution. We finally got our certificate going.
Thank God. Oh, this is like really.
It's signed by me, so if I ever become famous, it will require a revolution of some sort. But anyway, didn't say what kind. All right, so I'm going to read it, but this also applies for Sam, Jennifer, and Johnny. So I'm not going to read each one of theirs, all four, into the record, but I'll read this for Kara. So whereas Kara O'Brien has served with this distinction as a member of the Board of Trustees of the Boulder Public Library District from 2023 to 2026, and whereas in recognition of contributions of Kara O'Brien to the work of the board and the Boulder Library District, the board wishes to honor her on the occasion of the completion of her term on the board. So now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Boulder Library District hereby recognizes the outstanding leadership and commitment of Kara O'Brien and expresses its deep appreciation for her service and contributions to the Boulder Library District. And then it just says, introduced and read today. So, thank you. Get out of jail free, or get out of library jail free card.
That would actually be useful.
To do all your books.
Even when I'm very.
And we have other ones for, yeah, so I was in library jail a few weeks ago. I got out, so.
Happens like quarterly.
So I have the same thing for Sam, Fuqua, Jennifer E, and Johnny Teeter, so they'll be excited to see that. And we finally did it after 3 years. We got that resolution together. So, and just for my own personal, like, it's been a pleasure because you were here, you know, when we first started the district and we didn't know what the hell we were doing, and we met weekly, and
Before that.
even before that. So I really appreciate working with you. You're a great trustee and great lawyer. Oh, great person. And were you part of the LDAC, right? Were you part of the library commission? Okay.
Their mom was.
I'm a Nepo baby.
That's how they all get it.
It's okay. I'm so glad that you're signing up for the foundation. I was going to miss you terribly, and I'm super jacked that you are now going to be on the foundation and actually already being nominated for an officer, I think, tomorrow, which is all sort of right. Yeah. Just a role within the foundation.
No.
But it has been a little bit of time, and I can't thank you enough for all the work that you put in. I'm always amazed that, I mean, there have been people who stuck around for as long, but not everybody sticks around that long, and it's a testament really to your desire to give back to the community. I remember the day I met you at Amante Coffee and talked to you about, like, hey, would you be interested in this district commission? You had great questions that day, and I feel like you've always been a person who was reserved in judgment and balanced all the facts that came in it. So I can't tell you what a rare trait that is on people. I'm super grateful you've spent time with us. And it is partly, your mom is partly responsible, because I did ask your mom, can you give me some good recommendations for people? She's like, what about my daughter? So, just thank you so much. It is, my joke is that, like, most people spend longer on this board than I have been in most relationships, and significantly longer than I would ever subscribe to a magazine. So it's like, thank you for that. It's a big commitment. So thank you.
Sylvia wants to say something.
Oh, yes. Kara, I'm gonna really miss you, but we'll reach out and hopefully get together and continue those conversations. I just procedurally, so if it's a resolution, don't we have to actually pass the resolution?
Point of order.
So I move that we approve that resolution and any other resolutions that were mentioned.
All right, I'll motion to approve the resolution about the awesomeness of Kara and Johnny.
I'm gonna recuse myself for the first time.
All right, all in favor, so be it resolved, say aye.
Aye.
You didn't second, but yeah, all in favor. Okay, thank you. Let the record show. Okay. I have one more thing. Oh. Anybody else want to say great things about Kara?
I'm sad to see you go. We only overlapped for 1 year, and I answered basically your Craigslist ad on our neighborhood forum to join the board. So she sent out something like on our neighborhood forum, and I emailed her back, and I was like, oh my gosh, you actually emailed me back in the forum because I never use it. And I answered her call, and so happy that I got to know you.
Yeah, we did.
Technically, you're still a trustee until the next.
I was wondering about that.
But
Yeah.
so. If I call a special meeting, you gotta come. In between, I don't plan to do that.
I would just like to add in that I really appreciated being on the board. A sense of the room was always kind of looking over at you. Oh, I kind of know where this is going to go. And it gave me confidence.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
And then the final thing is, for me, before I give it to Mr. Teeter, Sitter, is that officer, if you would like to become a position, so we have finance committee, I hope everyone do that. Take your finance committee, treasurer, another person. So I know Benita expressed interest in becoming treasurer. So we have this treasurer, vice president, and the president role. And then we have 2 roles for the Library Foundation, ambassador, my liaison. And then the governance committee, so those are things that you could all volunteer for. I'm gonna volunteer. So you would the way you do it is you send an email to the trustees that just express your interest in being one of those positions. And I'm gonna ask. I will send the email that I was gonna ask to be the Library Foundation ambassador and on the governance committee. So just so you know, this coming from me.
You'll be the ambassador, everybody else is just the liaison.
The ambassador. Anyway, man, this is a lot of confusion. So that's all I have. So, Kim?
Just real quick, we've talked about this a couple times. HB 24-1001B, you may recall in 2024. Lowered the assessment ratios on basically all properties in order to bring down property taxes across the state. The other thing it did is it put a cap of 10.5% over every 2-year assessment period on your increases in revenue. It hasn't affected you yet. It won't affect you next year, but after that, hopefully it will. The statute has a provision in it that allows you to waive that 10.5 or 5.25% increase cap each year. We could do that in November. If you choose to do that, the election question is very simple, but the reason I want to bring it up tonight is because we'll have to make that decision at the beginning of August. once you make that decision, you can't do any electioneering. You can't do any education. So if you want to do that, it's time to start now. I'm not sure what that education would look like. I think just promoting the libraries and the costs and increasing costs and the decreasing revenues would be a good thing to start now. And then in August,
What would the question be on the ballot? How would it be?
it's just, there's a couple of ways we can change it, but typically it'll be one sentence. Shall the library district waive the 10.5% waiver in the statute?
Would it be like without raising taxes?
Without raising taxes, can we keep the taxes that are back to us?
Yeah, that's the part I want to add to it.
Okay. Okay, well, let's,
And we control what the ballot language is?
That's pretty much.
We would vote on it.
Yeah. There's a portion required by the statute, so that the first part I just said has to be first.
Could you send around what you think the language would be? That would help me think about what we ought to be doing between now.
Okay, yeah, and I'll send back this memo that we did in early March to you as well with the language.
David, I think maybe, go ahead, Ian, sorry.
Is there a cost to us? Does the county charge us to run that ballot measure?
Yes.
How much?
So the cost is based upon the length of space you take up in the Tabor booklet for this.
It's probably about 60.
How much? Yeah, what? That'd be 60. That may be high for this, but it won't be cheap.
It was 50 for the Boulder Library District measure, 55 or something. You have to pay, because you have to pay, it's like mailing out all the ballots.
And the cost depends, the cost of mailing the ballots and the cost of the Tabor documents is flat. What matters is how many people go to an election, because it's gonna be split up among them. So, and this, it's a presidential election season. I don't know which way that goes.
Well, this will be the first year that the city council's on an even year. So we're gonna have more people on the ballot. Just the Senate, the governor, the Congress, all the statewide offices, and the 5 for council. 5, right?
Yeah.
So this would be the most cost-effective year to do it.
Cost effective. Right. There's other considerations, of course.
Yeah.
Andy?
I was just going to say, I mean, it doesn't sound like we're going to decide on this tonight, but it is probably worth us thinking about when we think the earliest we would actually need this is. I don't think we're anticipating a 5% year-over-year property value increase next year, maybe in the year after. So, I mean, in my head, the calculus we need to do here is, would we prefer to run this in an even or an odd election year, just knowing the demographic differences of those elections? And then do we think we need to run it this year, or would we be comfortable waiting 2 years? And do we think property values are likely to increase by more than 10% in the next 2 years or not? So that's kind of the calculus I'm thinking about. I don't know that we have an answer, but probably worth thinking about those things.
What day in August?
I think it's August 5th.
Oh, okay, so we need to make a decision in July. Okay. All right, there we go. Okay.
So May is the discussion point, because you don't have a meeting in June.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I guess, my thing was like, let's schedule like 15 minutes to talk about this in May.
One is, do you want to do it?
Yeah.
And to Andy's point, is it 26, 27, 28?
When
do you want to?
I think one of the things is that a bunch of these ran last things and last measure, maybe we can pull some of that data just to see like how they did. Yeah, and then, I don't think it's gonna affect revenues, but, we would have to have a big jump, which I don't see happening right now, but,
A little better.
yeah, that might be the better time because, let's talk about that. Yeah, I think so too. Okay. All
right. Anything else?
All right. That's it. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you, and we'll see you next month.
What you are going to do?
Like, I'll keep an eye on it. I already signed.
Oh, okay, great.
Here's
Everybody else is here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, wait, I only signed, like, mine.
Okay, well, that's fine.
Recognize how the library is.
Okay. I think Johnny's.
Yeah.
You go, I don't know.